The infamous OTF knife. Of all the switchblades, this one is the most feared. Switchblades have been around for a while, but the out-the-front switchblade is a relatively new development. Today on the Knife Life, we're going to be taking a look at the OTF and if it's the right blade for you. The OTF is one of the flashiest knives out there, and it's been featured in a number of high-profile films. Heath Ledger brandished one as the Joker in The Dark Knight, and of course, the puppy-avenging John Wick enjoys his OTFs as well. And why wouldn't they? The OTF is a very dramatic knife, and the sight of a blade popping in and out of the knife with only the movement of a switch is pretty thrilling. But not all OTFs are the same. There are two types of automatic OTF. The single action and the double action. A single action OTF is only capable of deploying the blade. The button or lever that releases the blade will open it, but the blade must be closed manually, usually with some kind of charging handle or other mechanism. Double action OTFs, like this Microtech, are a little more handy. The mechanism that deploys the blade can also retract it. Manual OTFs, such as the Re8 exogravity knife, also exist, but we're going to focus on the switchblade OTFs in this video. Now, OTFs have a bit of a cult following that think that OTFs are the greatest thing to ever happen to the knife world. But just like every other knife design, they have their own strengths and weaknesses. Let's start with their strengths. So, why do people carry OTFs? Well, the most obvious reason is that they just look plain cool, but they do have some advantages. Ironically, for a knife with such a bad reputation, these are mostly safety benefits. The first and most obvious reason is the one-handed opening. Just like side opening automatics, all that's required to open the knife is the use of a button or lever. This makes it very easy to open the knife with just one hand. For this reason, many areas that would prohibit the carry of an automatic knife do allow disabled individuals with the use of only one hand to legally carry a switchblade. But unlike most side opening knives, double action OTFs allow you to safely stow your blade with one hand without having to fumble around with your knife. Furthermore, since the blade slides directly backwards and forwards, there isn't an opportunity to close the knife on your hand, such as with traditional side opening knives. The risk of an OTF knife lies solely towards the front of the knife. Finally, the OTF provides the safe and compact carry of double-edged blades. Double-edged fixed blades can be carried safely in a scabbard, but they take up more room than a folder. Folders are more compact, but double-edged blades are often discouraged. An outside-facing edge could provide some unfortunate results to the poor guy carrying it in his pocket. OTFs, on the other hand, store the blade in the grip enclosed on both sides. Before we move on to the drawbacks, a special thanks to today's sponsor, Extra Wallet. Extra has a variety of slim profile wallets for the EDC enthusiast looking to upgrade his wallet. These wallets securely carry 6 cards in an RFID protected compartment. Your cards are easily accessible with a press of a button which fans your cards out for your selection. Once you are done, it's easy to store your cards again. Extra Wallets has something for everybody, from the more traditional leather parliamentary wallets to their minimalist carbon fiber card holder. They even have something for the gold bugs. Make sure the rest of your EDC kit keeps up with your knife life. Hit up the link in the description below and use the code KNIFE to get 25% off until April 24th. Now, let's get back to OTFs. Just like any design, the OTF has its own drawbacks. Let's start with the single action OTFs. Their issue is that they are exactly that, single action. Well-constructed single action OTFs will feature a charging handle or other mechanism of safely storing the blade, but cheaper versions require the blade to be pushed back into the grip. Not a particularly convenient or safe design. For those with charging mechanisms, it comes back to you having to use 2 hands on your knife, which defeats a lot of the purpose of an OTF. Another issue is reliability. OTFs are switchblades and thus rely on springs for their deployment. Springs break and the mechanism is susceptible to dirt, grit, and lint interfering with the more complex mechanism. OTFs are even more susceptible to failure than side-opening switchblades. Side-opening switchblades often make use of a thicker cantilever spring, whereas OTFs make use of longer, thinner helical springs that are more delicate. Even when in perfect condition, there can still be issues with deployment. Microtech is one of the best producers of OTF automatics, which is why I procured this blade, but even it is deployed partially. In order to fix this, you have to grab the blade and pull it into the locked position. And for those thinking this is the ultimate assassin's blade, no, you can't stick the knife up against a target, stab it, and recover the blade. The springs aren't strong enough to thrust that deep, and a partial deployment will occur, meaning you can't stow the blade. This brings us to another issue: durability. OTFs are not the most durable blades that have ever been made. Side-to-side movement of the blade is present even in high-end OTFs, and by design, the locking mechanism is weaker against front-on impact than their folder cousins. This is less than ideal for high-intensity applications such as emergency and military applications, which is what these knives are marketed for a lot of times. Finally, legality of carry factors in. Switchblades of any kind are often restricted for daily carry except for military and law enforcement. OTF knives are no different than their side-opening brethren in this regard. Anyone carrying an OTF needs to be aware of their local statutes and be extra careful when traveling in other jurisdictions. So, should you carry an OTF knife? As always, it depends upon who you are and what you intend to use it for. I actually disagree with the primary market for these knives. I don't think they are a good fit for law enforcement, military, and first responders. Neither are they suited for self-defense. I don't recommend switchblades of any kind for situations where reliable opening is required, but OTFs are even more prone to failure, and their weaker frame is a liability. Traditional manual folders or fixed blades are a better choice in these circumstances. The same goes for those who work in hard-use trades. Individuals such as ranchers and construction workers should think carefully before selecting an OTF. For those who live in areas where switchblades are still banned, obviously carrying an OTF is a bad idea. But switchblade laws have recently been seeing large strides in reversal, making OTFs viable knives for everyday carry. For the average person, an OTF knife is a perfectly fine everyday carry knife. Opening boxes, cutting fruits, sharpening your pencil, digging out a splinter are all well within the capability of a decent OTF. Combine that with a stupid easy one-handed opening and a safe one-handed closing, the OTF is an excellent choice for the everyday Joe or Jane needing a handy tool. Let me know if you carry an OTF in the comments down below. And if this video was helpful, take a look at some of my other videos. I look forward to seeing you on the channel again. Stay safe and keep living the knife life.